He says, I urge you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a holy living sacrifice, acceptable to God as your service of worship. But then he says this, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, we think as Americans, North Americans, like renewing of your mind, I got to think right. The problem is, they didn't think about they didn't see themselves as a brain that somehow I can change the way I think, and that's necessarily going to change who I am, because that's not even Christian. That's not even, I mean, change the way I think to change the way I live. There's a lot of things that I don't live well, but I know well. What changes me is relationships. What changes me is a relationship with God and a relationship with you. And here's the connection I'm making. I can't really touch my relationship with God apart from my relationship with you. That's the body. That's the experience of Christ through the body of Christ. So here's what I think happens. If I can show this over here.
Jeff is high tech, so he's going to use the whiteboard.
Anytime I go anywhere to do anything, I go, just make sure I have a whiteboard. Because I think visually this way. But here's what I think happens. You know, all of us as humans, we were made for this thing called home. This thing called home. And home just means this. I have a place where I can be, where I can bring my inside outside, tell the truth about myself, and I can welcome there. Which, by the way, you're kind of already describing the church, but I'm just still describing the home. Yeah. The church is called a confessional community, where my ticket to be here, honestly, is my admission of what's going on my inside. Yeah. And people say, we're glad you're here. So we're made to be in this place called home, and home is a place of refreshment, filling. We're given what we need by these relationships that we can be ourselves in. And then here's what happens. We have to leave that home. We go out into a world post-Genesis chapter 3 where we get our behinds kicked, where we have to protect ourselves. We have to be on guard. We can't let everybody in. We have boundaries. They're important boundaries. And it's hard out there, and it's harsh. And by the way, there's stuff out there, not just COVID-19 germs, but like stuff, right? And then here's what happens. We come back home and we're refreshed again, and we're healed, and we're cared for. And so as a child even, it might look like sitting at the breakfast table, and this is, I know, kind of a little bit theoretical for many families, but think about what you would want. A child sitting at the breakfast table, and he's talking about going off to school, and he's saying, Mommy or Daddy, like, I'm really afraid. I've got a test this morning. Or, you know, there's this really cute girl that sits next to me, and I freeze every time I sit at my desk, and I can't even concentrate on math. And then, you know, the coach doesn't seem to like me, Dad, or whatever, right? And the dad or the mom just says, and I will be praying for you, and I'm going to be with you, and you got a place to come home to tonight. And then that child comes home, and they get to talk about it, and they get touched, and they get put to bed at night, and they get cared about. And this is what it can look like. I come back to get what I need to go out to survive it. But here's the problem, and this is where I think we're all living a lot right now. For many of us, this place called home doesn't look like this. It looks like this, where there's aspects of in here that feel really similar to what it feels like out here. And for some of us, there's not much difference between how I have to prepare to go home and how I have to prepare to go out there. And here's the challenge for us right now. A lot of us are stuck in here. When truthfully, if we just really said it, like, I've heard guys tell me, I missed the 30-minute commute. I missed that I can get away. Because here's what happens. We're made for this thing called home, and when we don't have home, we create little homes, little places where we can get relief from having to protect ourselves. This could be stuff like pornography could be a home, work could be a home, religion could be a home. Anything that lets me, or anything that gives me the possibility of relief from the struggle of life. And so it's kind of like we're made like this, and we're made for that. So we'll take anything that even looks close. And so we end up going to these things, quite frankly, to get relief from the fact that we have nowhere to go home to. And here, now I'll get back to the church. Because the church is, God created the family, and He created the church to be home. And the good news is, when I came to know Christ 40 years ago, I left my family and I joined a new family with a new father and new brothers and new ways of relating. And learning how over the last 40 years, and I hope I have 20, 30 more on this earth, to learn how to be a safe place to you and you to me. And that's, I think there's where all of a sudden now you look at these things, these admonitions in Romans 12 to go, he's talking about how to be in a family with each other. Yeah. And right now with what we're experiencing in our culture, a lot of us are being forced to have to face that this is really true. And that's why you described what you described as happening in many of these homes. And everybody's going, I got to get out. I got to get out. I got to get out. I'm going crazy. I got to get out. Well, I got to get out to what? Probably something here, or maybe just sometimes this looks better than this. Yeah. And that's just the truth for many of us.
So what do we do?
Well, I'm going to look at you, Pastor. It's what you all are doing, Darren. Huh. It's why you're you think about it. I just gave you a year of seminary right there. It's called ecclesiology. What's the role and the purpose of the church? Huh. Why is there a local church down here? Why are you all doing your groups in homes? Why does it feel odd to not gather? Yeah. Because your family's not getting together. Yeah.